we had a story we wanted to take a closer look at, and it involves Intel. And you all know that Intel has a new CEO, Lip Bhutan. We covered it here on the rundown a couple of weeks ago. And this week was Intel Vision 2025, which was a big event that they put together to talk to the community and some other analysts and folks like that. Well, Lip Bhutan got up and told the attendees there about his vision for the return of Intel. And of course, he said that Intel needs to attract engineering talent. They, of course, need to fix their balance sheet issues, and they need to look at the way that they do manufacturing processes. One of the biggest ways to take care of those last two was a rumored proposal that Intel could be spinning off non core business units. He also asked his customers to be, and I quote here, brutally honest with the company going forward, and reiterated that he was going to be focusing on engineering talent. He's either going to go out and hire brand new engineers, or he's going to go find those ex Intel employees that have left the company and maybe entice them to come back. Now, Stephen, we've covered Intel's fortunes for quite a while here on the rundown, and we've talked through a lot of different ways that maybe Intel can return to prominence. But I guess my question is, do you think Lip Bhutan's plan is what we need to turn Intel around?
Well, I think one thing that Lip Bhutan is doing right is admitting that the company has lost its way and admitting that the company has made mistakes and asking customers for feedback and suggestions and ideas about what they want Intel to do next. That kind of humility is refreshing. Frankly, it's something that we saw from the previous CEO as well, and something that we don't always see from tech companies. It shows that Lip Bhutan understands the challenge that he's facing and the challenge that Intel is facing in order to kind of pull itself out of this dive. What we didn't really get was a lot of concrete answers about what exactly they're going to do. Now, this is a new CEO. You could forgive him for maybe not having a plan about what he's going to do for Intel. But on the other hand, this is a guy who was on the board of Intel for years, somebody who really knows the chip industry, somebody who presumably has an incredible bench of thought leaders to help guide him on his way. And yet, in this presentation, he really didn't give us much information about what the company is going to do. For example, one of the biggest questions we have is, what is Intel going to do about the data center in Ohio, the chip fab in Ohio that it's been building? Will that go forward or not? The answer, well, there wasn't any answer. The next question we got, what is Intel going to do about its next generation products? Well, Lip Bhutan and the rest of the team at Intel did give us a pretty good walk through the next generation products coming out of Intel. But basically, all that stuff is already set in stone. So honestly, the only thing they could have said would be, we're not doing this, because it's not like they can go invent a new next generation Xeon today that's going to be launched later this year. I mean, that's just not how the chip industry works. Intel has been working on this stuff literally for years, and now it's coming to light. So I guess maybe people are expecting too much. It's kind of like when the president comes in and they expect like a new presidential administration to, like, I don't know, lower the cost of eggs on day 2. Well, that's not just how this whole thing works, right? The president comes in and they set a new tone, and then you give it 2 or 3 years, and then you see how things are going. Wall Street may not like that, but that's the truth. That's what happens when you have a new president. That's what happens when you have a new CEO. And for that perspective, I'm actually excited about Lip Bhutan, because basically the things that he said, and more importantly, the way that he said it, made me feel like this guy is the kind of leader that Intel needs. Let's see where he goes with this. Tom?
I echo your statements there, because you come into a company who, quite honestly, has been having trouble innovating, right? Like, we've seen that over the years with some of their issues with releasing chips, with some of the security issues that they've had, the fact that they kind of lost the GPU race. And then you bring in a guy who maybe doesn't do a complete 180, but says, I'm going to focus on engineering talent. Like I'm going to do what I can to bring the smart people back here. I have to applaud that messaging, because you're effectively saying we need to get to the next level in order to beat our competitors here. And yes, they are fighting against AMD. They're fighting against NVIDIA. The question is, and you kind of alluded to it in your statement, is not can the smart people save us? It's can the smart people save us before the people with the purse strings decide this isn't good enough? Um, we always talk about runway when we talk about startups, right? Do I have enough money in the bank to keep going until I can figure out how to make this work? Well, Intel obviously has enough money in the bank, but do they? Because we've seen, they originally were trying to put all these pieces together to create applications for their chips, right? And I'm not talking about software; I'm talking about hardware. Things like Mobileye, autonomous vehicles, and their servers and all these other things. And then they slowly started piecing it out. They started getting rid of it because they needed the cash more than they needed the pipeline effectively. And now we're kind of at a point, we were talking about this right before the thing started. Some people are saying, oh, well, he's going to get rid of Intel's non-core businesses. What's left? Like Intel is kind of down to it's our chip stuff, it's our foundries. Are you going to get rid of the foundries? Are you going to kind of roll them into their own separate concern and then control enough of it that you can continue to keep the CHIPS Act funding if it's still there that you need to make this happen? Or are you just going to kind of concede that maybe you can't make this happen? But one of the other weird rumors that's been going around all this week is the fact that there's a possibility that NVIDIA could be coming to Intel to start doing chip productions, because one of the things that we've seen on a bigger global political scale is that there's pressure being put on Taiwan and TSMC in the form of tariffs. And so if the goal of those tariffs is to onshore manufacturing, obviously Intel would be a big, they'd be the target of that. But is that going to meet the requirements that NVIDIA is going to have? Because obviously NVIDIA is not going to pull chip manufacturing from a place that they know they're getting good gear to bring it to the US to pay slightly less in tariffs, but end up paying more because they either can't get enough units to ship, which is a problem they already have, or the units that they have are low enough quality that they're not going to get what they really want out of it. I mean, I don't know if you follow like the gaming market, the other thing that GPUs do other than run AI code. But there was a big deal when they launched their latest series of GPUs about some of the fact that some of their raster operations processors were disabled. And look, it's like a 4% performance hit if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But man, for some people, 4% really matters. So do you think NVIDIA would be happy with Intel? They're like, oh, well, we can get you like 95% of what TSMC can do. Yeah, but that 5% can matter to some of our most loyal customers. I don't have a good answer. But then if Intel ends up being a manufacturer for NVIDIA, and that's the way that they're going to get enough money to kind of go back to prominence, what happens when they want to jump back into that GPU market? Or what happens when NVIDIA decides, well, what if we want to take over the CPU market with ARM CPUs?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here, and a lot of it is reading the tea leaves of the market, Tom. You look at the AI market, for example. Lip-Bhutan said a lot of things, not specific, but enough that we know that Intel is looking at fighting in the AI space against NVIDIA. As we talked about previously on the show, there's some question about exactly what that product should look like. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if Gaudi ended up being the right direction instead of going against these 100 plus kilowatt racks that NVIDIA is rolling out there? But it would also be embarrassing if it's completely the wrong direction and Intel should have invested in its own 600 kilowatt rack or something like that. So I guess hopefully the Intel team is up to snuff and can predict what the market wants, and hopefully Lip-Bhutan can turn this thing around. But so far he's saying the right things. I guess we got to give the guy some time.